This video shows the visual representation of the database transaction log file. We had an issue at work with a very huge database having a huge transaction log file, which was part of AG, and we had to restart the primary after all the other replicas were turned off as part of maintenance, and due to a huge open transaction, the recovery of the database on the primary after restart took a lot of time, and by a lot of time, I mean a lot of time. From this situation, we all learned something, and every DBA came with its own scripts or its own procedure for avoiding the situations in the future. My approach, since I have DIMS, was to graphically display the transaction log file and which portion is active and which one is not in order for other DBAs to have a visual interpretation of the log file and how it works. For time being, you will see that I choose to display 3 result sets, although more result sets can be created and displayed at runtime, having as input these 3 tables. Each physical transaction log file and its virtual log files are displayed, and clicking it will jump into the result sets in those 3 tables, giving access to additional information which is not part of the label I choose as anchor. On top of this, a legend was created for VLF size falling in specific buckets. Also, horizontal lines spawning multiple vertical lines, which are VLFS, were created in order to visually show from where to where we have inactive VLFS or active VLFS, and what is their status also. Anchors for specific transaction log terminology were created which, when clicked, are jumping to specific location in a document containing information about that process. Although in this version of the feature, I am not touching the VLF parity column. And what it means, and maybe other columns and other result set, this doesn't mean that the information or logic cannot be added later if needed. Due to the fact that I have small databases only on SQL 2016 and SQL 2019, and the DMVs are available only starting with 2019, I had to take data and add it to my SQL 2016 instance in some tables in order to simulate, but also to see how the code is behaving with a very huge database. As mentioned in previous posts, fellow DBA's colleagues expect people with some seniority in the field to know a lot of things about SQL Server, and by creating this feature, I am showing them how much they expect from their peers. I am also creating these features because of their uniqueness and the pride SQL team department can have when they provide these types of images as part of root cause analyze, or just as compressed form of the current state of the transaction log file to third-party analysts. It is easier to teach junior DBAs using an image or to do a brainstorming session among DBAs when you have the transaction log file displayed in front of your eyes with anchors pointing to theory. DIMS, the application I am showing in these posts, is my attempt of adding value to others' people work. Microsoft provided us the DMVs with information about the log. We have also in SSMS reports for disk usage some visual interpretation of the transaction log file, but they cannot provide everything for everyone, hence is in our hands the creation of reports or charts or things for our specific needs. ChatGPT helped me initially and show me how fast I can draw those 15,000 lines representing the VLF. It also showed me other things that I haven't asked for, and that would complicate things. It also showed me how I can call method from a user control in code behind from a class outside of the namespace of my user controls. It tried to teach me more about the topic, but this is not what DIMS is about. DIMS is about giving DBAs a platform of expressing themselves and helping performing their jobs without the need of memorizing how interfaces are working when they need to be created and so on. What I needed was to be able to click the anchor in my public class VLF visualizer framework element, which launched the code of scrolling the rich text box control in my user control to specific position of a text inside. ChatGPT told me how to achieve it. Should I learn that by heart? No. If I need to do it again for other feature, I will just copy-paste it from this feature. The point is to achieve goals and not memorize, and try to portray yourself smart.